Brian. Hey, Brian, how did you kind of get into long snapping? I know you did it back in Darien. And what is it about, that you like?
Yeah, so back in my freshman year of high school, my dad taught me it just because that was something that he did when he played football back in UConn. And so, he just taught me the basics of it, and it was something, just to help the team out. And so, long snapping just kind of became a little bit of a hobby of mine. And, I kind of used it as, a tool to not only just get on the field, but, give myself the best opportunity to help the team. And, I've been lucky enough it's led me to UConn. And, I just like, it's such an independent role, you have such a big role, but, a lot of people count on you, but it's not something that's going to be, in the limelight all the time. So, I just like being able to do my job, stay anonymous, and just let everyone else on the team, get all the accolades and put points up on the board. And so, I'm just happy to be a part of the program.
What kind of skill set does it take to be a good one?
It's as much as it is, physical, having good technique and being able to, put the ball into the spot, as consistent at every time as possible. A lot of it is a mental aspect. And you need to have a sharp center mentality, kind of like a sniper or, kind of like, a golfer. You're only as good as your next shot and you're only as good as your next snap. And so being able to have confidence and, being able to replicate the same form each and every time is what makes a good long snapper.
Thank you.
Maggie, go ahead.
Yeah, also for Brian, this is your final 2021 season will be your final year. You've gone from Darien to now, and last season, I know you guys didn't have a season, but you were on this watch list and this candidate list for a lot of those awards. What does this upcoming season mean to you, knowing that it's your last time in a UConn uniform?
It's kind of just been really full circle for me. Being a Connecticut kid, coming to UConn games since I was younger, always dreamed of it being this spot. And, sometimes I really have to just take a step back and, appreciate the opportunity I am to even be here and, to have success here. And so there's a lot of guys in the locker room that, are super supportive. And, for really this whole year is just appreciating everything that, college football and UConn football has to offer, whether it be getting my degree, now getting 2 degrees. And, the COVID year, obviously it was disappointing getting it taken away from us, but, it's just been a huge opportunity for me to, really appreciate why UConn is so special and, why I wanted to come back and, finish what we started. And like the others had said earlier, we want to get a ring and we want to do it this year.
When going into last fall, was there ever a decision in your head was there ever a doubt of not coming back for this extra year?
No way. I wanted to finish it on my terms, and I wanted to make this experience as memorable as possible. There's just too many guys in the locker room and too many coaches that have just put too much time in for me, not to be a part of this. And this whole year going into spring ball, it's just been, it's been a grind since day one, and I love it. Knowing that we're going to be able to have a season and we're going to have the right season is going to be perfect. So, I'm super happy that everything's going the way it is.
Awesome. Thank you.
Sean McFarland.
Hey guys, I have questions for both of you, but we'll start with Brian since he's on the hot seat now. You're growing up a Connecticut kid. You said you watched UConn growing up. You're a fan growing up. What are some moments you remember watching? Some players you remember watching when you were kind of growing up and starting to fall in love with UConn?
Definitely. I would definitely say my favorite UConn moment would be, kicking that game-winning field goal versus USF and storming the field. That was pretty much my first real moment of UConn football. And then there's little bits and pieces everywhere. The most recent would be, the Houston game a couple years ago when we upset them when they're 17th in the country. But there's just so many players I could list off. Andre Dixon, Donald Brown, Dan Orlovsky, Scott Lutris, a lot of guys, who grew up in this area and grew up in the Northeast and just put UConn football on the map. And, being able to put on that uniform and kind of just live out my dream and live in those guys' shoes and, carry the torch is incredible.
And do you remember the moment? Obviously, so many kids grow up playing football and they want to play college football. They want to play Division I football. Do you remember the moment or year or time when you realized that you can and you can do it for the team that you grew up watching?
I would definitely say, at least like when back in high school, when I was fortunate to get the offer, I was just with my dad, and my dad, from day one, like I said earlier, he's the one who taught me the skill set, and, being able to get that offer, and, it's kind of been both of our dreams. He's the one who put me on to UConn. And so that was from that point on, I was like, wow, like this is going to take me a long way. And then, like I had mentioned, coming up the first day of summer class, my freshman year, and working out with the team, I just went from a fan to I'm just one of the guys. And that's just been something that, I really take appreciation for. Yeah.
I asked this to Jay Rose last week. He's in a similar spot to you, a Connecticut guy who's been here for years now. The winning hasn't necessarily been there for you guys in your first few years here. How important would it be for you, again, as someone from Connecticut, as someone who's been here for so many years now, to go out a winning season, to have that strong season to finish your career?
It would mean everything. That's all we came back for. As much as it is, the camaraderie and being able to be with the guys, we all came here for a purpose, and we came here to win a ring. And, we feel like we're putting ourselves in the best position. This year we have the guys that, we really feel like we can do this. And, we have the schedule that we don't see anyone on the schedule that, we don't think we're going to go out and compete and get a W. And so it would just mean the world to be able to win a bowl game for UConn, get a ring, and put UConn football back on the map.
Awesome. Thanks, man. And for you, Jeremy, just what have you seen out of the defensive back so far through a few weeks of spring ball, and obviously last fall? Just kind of what are you seeing out of that position group, and how are you guys coming along?
I've definitely seen a ton of growth since between the last season that we played until now. A lot of that is kudos to Coach Burke. He definitely knows exactly what he's doing with us. He's super knowledgeable about the position, and he communicates with us really effectively. The older people, the older guys in our group, I think that we've also done a really good job kind of stepping up more up into those leadership roles and helping the younger defensive backs along too. So right now we're all just super close with each other. Everybody's way better in terms of knowing their assignments. Everybody's gotten a lot bigger, stronger, and faster in this year that we've had off, and more technically sound. And one guy that's made a ton of improvements since last season is Jalen Farrow. He's come a super long way, and he's really having a good spring so far.
I think Ryan Vandermark also said Jalen Farrell made good improvements. What specifically has he done?
You can just tell that he's a lot more confident out there. He's always known what he's doing, but you can just see it in him. Like he's just playing way faster, just flying all over the field, making splash plays. Like I just mentioned before, like in terms of leadership, he's been a lot more vocal, and just being more of a leader. You can tell it's kind of forcing him to play better. Like when you put yourself in that kind of position, it forces you to just elevate your game. So I've definitely seen that from him.
Yeah, and we've heard from the defensive linemen, just heard from other guys that have watched the defense, said that the D-line looks really strong, that front seven looks really strong. How are you feeling this defense kind of come together as one? Have you seen that yet, as kind of everything's clicking as one unit and not so much just individual position groups?
Yeah, we've definitely come a long way since my freshman year. This is the closest that the defense has ever been with each other. We all spend so much time with each other now. It's actually it's ridiculous. Like we're not supposed to, but we'll hang around each other in the locker room like a little bit more. You'll see D linemen going over to the DB area, DBs going over to the D line area. We are there's a ton of more communication on the field. So like when things are happening, dudes aren't just silent. We're actually calling stuff out, letting each other know what's coming before, during, and after the snap. And I just feel the closest I've ever been to all of our defensive players now.
Thanks, man.
Gavin?
Hey, Brian, where do you stand as far as school? Did you finish your undergraduate work last semester you're in the master's program. Where do you stand for school-wise?
Yep. So when the season got canceled, that's when I realized I was like, okay, I'm going to try and graduate. So I graduated with my undergrad in December, and so now I'm in the first semester of my master's degree in sport management.
And I know you've been heavily involved in community service, with the virus and everything. How has that changed? Are you still doing some community service work? How's that look now for you?
Yep. So I'm a part of the UConn's student athlete advisory committee. And so every NCAA school has one. And so I'm a representative for the football team. And so with COVID, it's been kind of limited with what we can do. But, we do a lot of virtual readings to a couple elementary schools in Wyndham and Willimantic. We do a bunch of community service workshops with students from East Hartford Middle School with our Goal Line program. And, as much as it's been limited, as a team and as a student athlete community here at UConn, we're doing a lot to help out a lot of people. And so, I'm trying to do my part and make myself available and just, be able to be out in the community.
And why is that important to you to be involved with the community service?
Because Connecticut is my community. There's so many people that, have supported me along my way, and, faith, family, and friends are the three most important things that, keep me grounded in my life. And so, every opportunity I get to give back and show love for the people, who make Connecticut home for me is just so special.
Thank you.
Anybody else have any questions for Jeremy or Brian?
Can you hear me?
Yep. Go ahead, Sean. Oh, is that?
Yeah. Hey, this is a question for both you guys. Coach Russell tweets a lot about the team competition on social media. Can you guys talk a little about that? What goes into it? Jeremy, I know you're currently in first. Just talk a little about that process. Competitive battle. I see you guys shaking your heads. Just talk a little about that.
So this is something that we've been doing. I think this is our second year doing it. So basically the way it works is that every member of the leadership council is the captain of their own team. So back in the fall, we had we got the list of all the players on the team. We had a whole draft, just picking people onto our teams. So you can earn and lose points for like a bunch of different reasons. You can earn points for making your weight range every week, for winning the competitions that we have every Friday, getting academic shout-outs, so stuff like that. And then you can lose points for, any kind of conduct violation, being late to stuff, missing things completely. Obviously, my team is in first right now. Shout out to all of them. But the competition, it's been great. Like it's a great way for all of us to, go out and compete against each other. And just also a great way to, just another way to make sure that everybody stays on top of their stuff, and making sure that everybody holds each other accountable. I know like my team, we have a group chat every week. We're talking, making sure that everybody's, on their P's and Q's, making sure that people are in their weight range, that they're, going to class, getting any kind of academic help that they need. So it's nice for the competitive aspect, but also for the, in the sense that it does bring us closer together. Because I find myself, with COVID and all that's going on, I don't really get to see everybody, as much, but because of the competition, I find myself being able to, communicate more with people that I usually, haven't been able to, since I haven't been able to see everybody, every day, and just, making sure that I'm, staying on top of everybody, making sure that everybody's doing what they're supposed to.
Going off of what Jeremy was saying, as much as the team competition is, fitting the entire team into smaller groups and going against one another, it's just really another way for, everyone on a team to know your brother. That's a huge thing. We're putting a lot of emphasis into this spring ball and this semester and the season. With COVID, we weren't able to, really get to, know some of the younger guys better. And, as we're bringing in new freshmen for the semester, the competition allows us to, get different position groups, different backgrounds onto our teams. And so it's just been a really good opportunity to get to know one another. But, like Jeremy had mentioned, it's a really good way to keep everyone accountable. You know, each and every day we get text messages saying, you know, who's doing a good job in the classroom. You know, if someone's late to something, you know, you lose points and you get, you know, put onto this, you know, board in a text message. And so it's a really good opportunity for, you know, the older guys and the leadership guys to, you know, take an opportunity to take the younger guys in and say, hey, this is the way. And if you do it, you'll be successful.
And then, Jeremy, a question for you. You seem to be one of the guys here that has the most experience at UConn at the cornerback position. Just your development over the years. I think last spring you were a little banged up, if I recall right. Now fully healthy. How's that helped your game? And talk a little about your development over the years.
Yeah, so it's been a long few years. So yeah, like you said, last spring I was a little bit banged up. I ended up injuring my quad halfway through, so I didn't get to finish spring ball. So that's been one of my goals, or that was my goal for this spring was to, you know, do even more in the athletic training room to like make sure that my body stays as healthy as it can be, so I don't so I'm able to, you know, finish fully. But in terms of my development, right now is the most comfortable that I've ever been, to put it to say the least at this position. I've done, you know, a lot. I've tried to do a lot more in terms of my leadership role and stepping up. Like I mentioned before about Jaylon, the same thing applies to me. Putting myself in, you know, more of a leadership role has helped me elevate my game, because, you know, you can't be super vocal and then go out on the field and lay an egg. So it forces you to, you know, kind of back up like all the stuff that you've been preaching to the team. I do my best to, you know, set a good example for the other DBs each and every day, get everybody pumped up, not just the DBs but the rest of the defense too. So that, you know, we're all part of the same unit. We all have, you know, the same job to do: go out and stop the offense as best we can. So I feel like I've been like way more comfortable with that since coming in freshman year. Right now I'm just really excited about the defense as a whole and jacked up for the things that we're going to do this fall.
Thank you.
Sean, did you have another one?
Yeah, just real quick for Jeremy. You mentioned that kind of the whole defense has been hanging out more than they ever have since you've been here in terms of all the, you know, why do you think that is? What has contributed to you guys being closer as a whole this year as opposed to years past?
So obviously nobody likes to lose, especially the amount that we have over the last few years. So our goal is just win and keep winning, and to go to a bowl game, win a bowl game. It's been too long since we've, you know, consistently won games. So everybody just has that collective mindset that something needs to change, right? We need to change the culture, change the mentality, in order to, you know, move forward and accomplish the goals that we have. So I really feel that, you know, right now everybody's really on the same page. Everybody knows what needs to get done. Coach Etchell's mentioned it before that he's felt less now that the coaches have to, you know, get involved with everything the players doing. The team is becoming more player run, which is really good. That's how it needs to be. So just, you know, because of the collective goal that we have and the fact that none of us here want to keep on doing what we've been doing for the last few years. Like everything needs to change right now, and everybody understands that. So because of that, we've all just grown, you know, so much closer over the years.